CVille Show. My name is Jerry Miller. Thank you kindly for joining us on the water cooler for conversation here in Charlottesville, Albemarle County, and in Central Virginia, the I Love CVille Show. It's great to be with you on a gorgeous and glorious Friday afternoon. I was having a conversation as I bought this Butterfinger. I have a Butterfinger addiction. I'm showing an empty wrapper on screen for a Butterfinger I just enjoyed prior to the program. I like the afternoon sugar pick-me-up. Ginny Who, thank you kindly for watching the show. Jasmine, the fantastic cashier at the Market Street Market.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she's great.
I love conversating with Jasmine. She is just a breath of fresh air and someone I enjoy seeing. I'm at the grocery store over there. I know you're at the grocery store quite often, the Market Street Market. I'm probably there 4 times a week at least. Mm-hmm. I love the biscuits that they have, that they make in the morning. The sandwiches you're a fan of.
I love their croissant. Their croissantwiches.
Those are great. I often get at the end of the day, I may get a tall boy, an Emperor of Clouds from 3 Notch, which I enjoy.
I like the Collective Arts tall boys.
Those are great. I love the packaging with the Collective Arts tall boys.
No doubt.
We had this conversation as I was checking out at the register today with Jasmine, the cashier, when I was buying this Butterfinger. And she said, because we always talk about something, and she said, "Can I say Happy Easter to you?" I said, "Of course you can say Happy Easter to me."
Yeah.
And I said, "Why couldn't you say Happy Easter?" She said, "I've said Happy Easter to a handful of people. I hope you have a great Easter weekend." And a number of the people have bristled, and some even taken a bit of offense to have a pleasant Easter weekend. And I said, I rarely take offense to anything, and certainly not to someone wishing me a good weekend.
Yeah.
Even if I was not a practicing Christian, which I am, God-fearing man, having someone say, "I hope you have a good Easter weekend," is akin to someone saying, "I hope you have a good weekend."
Yeah.
And bristling and taking offense to someone wishing you a positive couple of days.
No matter what you believe in.
No matter what you believe in.
No, what I was going to say is no matter what you believe in, Easter is this weekend. Whether you go to church for Easter, whether you take your kids to a park to go search for eggs and eat chocolate bunnies, I'm constantly amazed by the things that people will get offended at. Like, I'm a Christian. If somebody said Happy Ramadan weekend, what am I going to do? Get angry?
If someone said to me, like, and if you watch this program, you know I'm a man of faith. If someone said to me, "I hope you have a good atheistically weekend," I would look at him and say, "Okay."
What's that holiday on your favorite TV show?
Which favorite TV show? Seinfeld?
Yeah.
What's the holiday on Seinfeld?
Don't they have like a tinsel tree or something?
Oh, look at you, getting very nicely done. Go ahead, finish your thought.
I can't remember the name of the holiday. I mean, isn't that that's essentially exactly what we're talking about, right? A random non-denominational holiday. Anyways.
Anyway, it was a conversation to start today. So donuts coming to Fry Springs. We'll talk about that today. Ray Cadell, welcome to the program. Festivus, Kate Schartz and Ray Cadell.
There we go.
Ray Cadell and Kate Schartz say. I could not. I was taken aback by her saying to me, and she is fantastic. She's a fantastic human being. I was taken aback by her saying to me, folks have bristled and taken offense to me wishing them at the checkout line, I hope you have a happy Easter weekend. Kate Chart says, we celebrate every year by airing our grievances on Christmas Eve, Festivus. All right, we'll get into the topics of conversation today. We broke some news on Monday with the Albemarle High School physicality, or I guess we call it an attack, right? Student-on-teacher violence.
I mean, yeah. One teacher was punched in the face and one was slapped in the face. And then I think, what was it, 3 or 4
One
days?
teacher was punched. We don't know is necessarily in the face. One was slapped in the face.
Fair.
We know that. The student that punched the teacher needed medical attention. I don't know for 100% certainty it was in the face. After we reported that news, because we had confirmation from a handful of teachers that watched the program, the storyline made it into television that night, NBC 29 and CBS 19. And then Daily Progress has got a story about it today in the newspaper, citing a teacher speaking off the record. And the elements of this story are tremendously concerning, to the point where it's Charlottesville High School all over again. Yeah. Unchecked groups of students. Am I allowed to use gangs if it's an unchecked group committing lawless type behavior, where it's students that, and this came up in the Charlottesville High School conversation last semester, students that are not following the rules, right?
Yeah.
Not listening to authority, roaming hallways unchecked, attacking people, breaking the rules, cussing and cursing teachers out, throwing chairs at teachers. This is all from today's story. Throwing chairs at teachers, throwing objects at teachers.
I believe that throwing chairs was fairly recent, wasn't it?
Very recent. Not going to class, not putting their cell phones away, looking for trouble, punching teachers, slapping them in the face. The Albemarle County Police called to the schools, issuing social media and email threats of violence and future attacks, to the point that police were called.
That was just a few days ago.
That was a few days ago. Is that behavior something that I could say, if it's a group of students doing this, is it safe for me to say gangs? Or does this fall under the same category where Jasmine, the friendly cashier, can't wish folks happy Easter weekend?
How so? Could you explain that?
We're such a politically correct and a politically sensitive society now, right? Where an email signature, I get probably a dozen emails a week in email signature where it says preferred pronouns to be called.
Really?
Jasmine said felt that folks were saying she wasn't politically correct by her wishing folks a happy Easter weekend. Am I not being politically correct when it's a group of students punching teachers, slapping in the face, throwing chairs at them, throwing objects at them, cussing and cursing at them, basically lawlessness? Am I not being politically correct by using the word gang to describe a group of students breaking the rules and impacting quality of life?
I don't know if I'd say that falls under the umbrella of what you're talking about. I think it's more a matter of, to me, gang says coordinated. It
says an organized group. A number of people forming a group or a gang. A synonym for gang is group. Working together in coordination to do something that is offensive or law-breaking.
Maybe you do call it a gang.
Can you not call that gang?
I suppose you could.
There's an article in the newspaper today. This is the news we broke on Monday, first here on the program. We'll talk about some other news you first heard on the program here with the team behind MarieBette expanding to Fry Springs in a matter of minutes. But the teachers that are speaking off the record to us are saying that they're nervous to go to the school.
Yeah.
And nervous probably is not a description of what's happening. Afraid.
Yeah.
The headline in the newspaper today in the DP was what?
Was teachers afraid to go to school?
I mean, verbatim.
Teachers don't feel safe at Albemarle High School. I think it,
That's the headline in the newspaper today.
I appreciate the fact that, was it Durham? Is that his name?
The principal
Yeah.
is not. I butcher his last name.
I appreciate the fact.
I'm sorry, principal. I don't mean any disrespect by butchering your last name.
I appreciate the fact that charges have been filed against the students, but I think from what I read in the Daily Progress article and what we're talking about right now about Bonham, about the teachers being it seems like it's yet another case of too little, too late. It's like you're driving down the road with a passenger and you smash into a car, and they're like, "Why didn't you use the brake pedal?" You're like, "I'm pushing the brakes now." And they're like, "Yeah, but we already crashed." It's like, okay, yes, we get that you're charging the students that were involved in the recent violence. We get that you caught the kid that was making online threats. But the fact of the matter is that right now, it's a sad state of affairs that these students feel completely free to
do whatever they want,
to punch a teacher,
to throw a chair. What is worse? I mean, I would imagine the punching the teacher is worse, but slapping a teacher in the face and throwing a chair at a teacher is right there below punching the teacher in the same category.
I mean, we don't really have
sexual violence.
We don't really have to set these above or below each other. All of them are horrible things to be happening.
Doing drugs on school grounds.
That's bad too.
Look, I'm not gonna, the school resource officer topic is a hot button one. The metal detector one is a hot button one. What should the teachers do as they form now a teacher union is a hot button one. How to maintain teacher quality of life, safety, and morale is a hot button one. Whether there needs to be a reset or a sick out with the teachers doing this to make a statement. Charlottesville High School, no true change was made at Charlottesville High School until before Thanksgiving, when the Charlottesville High School teachers did an off-the-record sick out and didn't show up to school, and they couldn't have school that day.
Yeah.
Where the superintendent legitimately issued a statement, and he said, "We don't have enough teachers at Charlottesville High School. We need to cancel school today."
Yeah.
That's when actual change happened at Charlottesville High School.
Mm-hmm.
Until the sick out with the teachers, where the superintendent's office and the school board realized that, oh my God, it's actually the teachers who have the power. Until that sick out happened, no change was happening at CHS.
Yeah.
And I think we're at that point where you now have teachers speaking to folks like Judah and I with the following and platform or the newspaper saying, we're begging you for help.
Yeah.
Begging us for help. That's the language utilized. Please let the community know what's going on, because the narrative and the message that's being put forth by the principal, or maybe it's the superintendent's office who is directing the principal what to say. In fact, that's probably what's happening. Mm-hmm. The narrative that's out there is false. False narrative. And you're talking about one of the most marginalized professions, compensation-wise, one of the most marginalized professions work schedule-wise, one of the most marginalized professions, quality of life-wise out there, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're never going to not need teachers. And I don't say need lightly, because they're the people training our kids to hopefully turn out to be decent people who don't go around punching and slapping and throwing chairs at people.
So I promised that we would utilize this platform to have the back of the underdog. And educators are the definition of the underdog right now. pay, quality of life, treatment. What other profession can you think of where customers, essentially the student is the customer, where customers are throwing chairs, punching, cussing, cursing, and issuing documented threats to the worker?
Yeah.
No, like
I know.
police.
Maybe.
Definitely.
Not on a regular, I mean, yeah, sure, it happens.
But besides law enforcement, think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Besides law enforcement, a student is the customer pretty much. The teacher is the worker, where the customer is social media threatening, email threatening, hitting, slapping, cursing, kicking, throwing chairs, bottles, all for below cost of living wages, early rise and long hours. Come on now. Are you at the point of the documented? Are you at the point of the organized sick out? Lisa Costello watching the program, her photo on screen. If you could put the viewer and listener power rankings on some of the viewers and listeners' photos on screens we'll get to. ilovecville.com/viewer rankings. Lisa Costello is a key member of the family, and she says the Christian Light Education homeschool curriculum out of Harrisonburg is an excellent and very reasonable price. Travis Hackworth watching the program. Is he in the viewer and listener power rankings, Judah?
Let's see. He is not.
Why? Travis is not out of Danville? Put him in the power poll. Travis Hackworth, 52 in the family. Right behind Tom Stargill, who watches the show, the Golden Apple Award winner. Dylan's Rule, welcome to the broadcast. Did we get Dylan's Rule on the show?
Not yet.
On the power ranking? Okay, so Dylan's Rule needs to be in the power rankings. Travis in Danville, Virginia says, you want to see how depressing it is and how hard to hire a teacher it is? Go to the professional career fairs across the state and see how many people show up to those. The numbers have decreased dramatically.
I'm not surprised.
The two high schools with the largest enrollment, Albemarle and Charlottesville, are literally Lean on Me, Morgan Freeman, and Dangerous Minds, Michelle Pfeiffer. Callie Jackson watching the program, key member of the family, love when KJ watches the show. KJ, big ups to you. She is number 8 in the family. Let's get KJ's photo on screen. This is a fantastic photo of you, KJ. She says Monticello High School is not having these problems. And she says it sounds like the patients are running the asylum. Right.
Yeah.
If a teenage boy picks up a chair and hurls it at a teacher, that is a weapon.
If the student feels comfortable doing that, I mean, that's the thing. It's not like, if any one of these were isolated incidents, it would be, okay, that's horrible, but kids are crazy. But when it's one thing after another and kids seem emboldened, I think that points to a deeper problem.
Ray Cadell watching the program. Let's get Ray's photo on screen. Love Ray Cadell. Ray Cadell, what's his power ranking? Ray needs a high power ranking. You got his photo on screen, number 47 in the polls. This is a great photo of you, Ray Cadell. Ray Cadell says a single teacher with a moderate car payment and maybe a student loan payment cannot afford to buy a home in Albemarle County. Let's start there. Yeah, look, we got a profession that is being cussed at, cursed at, threatened, punched, slapped in the face, having chairs hurled at it. Mm-hmm. Literally chairs thrown at them. Students refusing to get off phones, students having sex on grounds, students using drugs on grounds, students hazing to the point of, call it a sexual assault, whatever you want to call it, led to police involvement, as we talked about on the program. in a locker room. You got a profession that has to show up to work before everybody else gets to work, for the most part. A profession that requires long hours, very low morale right now, very low pay, and they can't afford to live here.
Yeah.
There it is. KJ says, do one strike and you're out. KJ says, after you start kicking a few out, I bet the kids will start falling in line. 100% agree. That's what happened at Charlottesville High School. And it wasn't until the unofficial teacher sick out that any changes were made. When the teachers before Thanksgiving said, we're not going to show up to work, we're all calling in sick, and then when Superintendent Gurley said, oh my gosh, we don't have enough teachers to open Charlottesville High School, we need a hard reset. The principal quit. They brought in interim principal Kenny Leatherwood. Kenny Leatherwood, basically Morgan Freeman from Lean on Me. He brings in order to the school, boots some kids out of the school, and now we hear no issues from CHS. But it was not until the unofficial teacher sick out that anything happened.
Yeah.
The teachers have the leverage. So frustrating. Nurses, Janice Boyce Trevelyan, her photo's on screen. Let's get JBT. JBT, we love when you watch the program, Janice Boyce Trevelyan. She is 20 in the family. She says nurses deal with this. She also says, I would not have worried about what administration would do to me. I would have worried about what my dad would do to me. My father would tell me if I thought I was wrong, I could defend myself, but it had to be done respectfully. Same with my parents. Same with mine. Vanessa Parkhill watching the program. Let's go to VP. VP is number 6 in the family. She says, if we cannot candidly discuss the problem, we're not likely to come up with successful solutions. Is your goal to be politically correct, spending more than a second thinking about the use of the word gang relative to the story only feeds the problem. Fair. Thank you for holding me accountable. She says, you're right to use gang. If you're so walking on eggshells in today's environment that you have to be so mindful of political correctness all the time, then society is being held back by these social norms that we're afraid of potentially breaking.
That's a fair point.
Where the cashier cannot comfortably wish someone a happy Easter weekend.
Yeah.
And is it not the nicest person ever?
Definitely.
She was down in the dumps because of it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Anything else you want to add about this? I encourage you to read the article in the Daily Progress if you have not already. It is what we've been talking about on this program since Monday at another school in this area. Let's go to the MarieBette story. You want to set the stage here for the MarieBette story? Fry Springs, the donuts and espresso. And did you get the Sbrocco is how it's pronounced?
Yeah.
Go ahead, you set the stage. And if you got lower thirds on screen too.
All right. Let's see. I set the stage earlier.
That was prior to the show starting.
There is a new donut shop that will be opening up on what's the street name? It's down in Fry Spring.
Are you setting the stage here? Or are you going too much in the weeds without just setting the stage?
I'm not getting in the weeds. I'm
a little bit of dead air over there.
Very few weeds. Yeah, well, I'm trying to
That's getting into the weeds there.
I'm trying to get
so focused on a detail that we have dead air.
The detail of you wanting to have photos later?
No, we could get to that later. We got to get to this topic first.
Yeah, but I've got to have them in place so that we can use them. And I'm also changing the headline. There we go. Okay. Sbrocco's. Donuts and Espresso opening this summer in the Fry Spring area.
Maury Avenue.
And they're going to be New Jersey style. Good stuff. I can't wait. This is from a former MarieBette worker, Melissa Sbrocco, and
who's she partnered with?
partnered with MarieBette.
With the owners of MarieBette, Patrick Evans and Jason.
Yep. And let's see. Where is the information on these donuts?
All right, I'll give you the nitty gritty here. Judah, you fill in when you're in. Former baker MarieBette has partnered with the owners of MarieBette, Patrick and Jason. They're going to take over a portion of the Anna's number 5 spot on Maury Avenue. Terry Hinderman owns that shopping strip. He also owns the Fry Springs Pizza, the real estate itself, the former gas station. Jason, Patrick, and this former baker, Melissa Sbrocco, are going to open up a donut and espresso shop in the Maury Avenue shopping center. I think this is a brilliant move. Look at the Fry Springs food and beverage scene. What is missing from the Fry Springs food and beverage scene? What is missing?
Donuts?
Breakfast. The breakfast piece. Atlas Coffee behind Guadalajara has some pastries and coffee, but breakfast is missing from the Fry Springs restaurant ecosystem. Breakfast. A neighborhood walk to a location and get breakfast. I think they're going to do fantastically well. Everyone loves donuts. Everyone. I give props to Patrick and Jason, the owners of MarieBette, for backing another entrepreneur. They backed one of their former team members, current team members with Petite MarieBette on Water Street, which we go to all the time. I think this is going to be extremely successful, and frankly speaking, and we'll let Judah be the voice of reason here. Is this what we talked about and reported in November?
It sure is. Yeah.
In November on this talk show, and we caught some heat because we put this information out before it was supposed to be put out. We said the team behind, and I'll read verbatim. You can find this online at ilovecville.com/new MarieBette. I'll read verbatim from what we said. The talented team behind MarieBette Cafe and Bakery is opening a 3rd location in the city of Charlottesville in the Fry Springs neighborhood off Jefferson Park Avenue. Multiple sources confirmed with the I Love CVille Network. They signed a lease this week and will rent a portion of the former Anna's Pizza number 5 location in the Maury Avenue Shopping Center. The team will launch a version of its popular cafes on Rose Hill Drive and Water Street with a focus on capturing the attentions of locals, professionals, and students within close proximity. The location will serve coffee, breakfast, and pastries, and a smaller scale-down footprint of the beloved Anna's number 5 location. I think Ray Cadell sent a better photo for the rankings, he says. It's in my Facebook DMs, and he wants a higher ranking. Ray, you earn a higher ranking all the time by offering commentary on this show. Those rankings on ilovecville.com/viewer rankings are tied to the content and commentary and questions and perspectives shared by viewers and listeners, and Ray is valued. I think this place is going to crush in Fry Springs. Wait till the Paul Manning Biotech Institute opens, and thousands of employees are within half a mile of Maury Avenue Shopping Center. Thousands.
Yeah.
Within half a mile walk to here. Paul Manning investing over $100 million. Mm-hmm. Wait for that and see what it does to the customer base. Very excited for it. More news to come from the Fry Springs restaurant ecosystem as well, and I'll give you a tease on that with another business close to opening over there. Continue to tune into the I Love CVille show for those details. Anything else you want to add to this? I think Simon did a great job covering the story for Charlottesville 29. I think Sbrocco's Donuts and Espresso are going to be a smash hit.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. I think it's a great idea, and I think you're right about the new business coming to that area. They're probably going to need a bigger shop before too long, or maybe a drive-through.
A drive-through?
Yeah.
There's no chance that there's a drive-through. It's in the middle of the shopping center. How could it have a drive-through? Perhaps it could have...
I wasn't actually suggesting that they build one in that shop, but...
Perhaps it could have a cart outside of some kind in one of the parking spaces.
Yeah.
To capture some traffic. But that traffic can get congested from time to time.
No doubt.
I want to highlight on this Friday the evolution of Alderman Library, if you want to put that lower third on screen, now Shannon Library. This was an article recently released on UVA Today. You can find it online at news.virginia.edu. We want to make sure we get photo credits on there. Some of these photos from the University of Virginia Visual History Collection. Some of these photos from Tom Daly, the talented photographer. Tom Daly, a local legend. The illustration is done by John DiJulio of University Communications. Look at the before and after here. Which photo are you going to do first? This one?
Yeah.
All right, is that on screen?
Yeah, that's the only one I've got ready.
On the left is a photo from 1964. The new stacks face University Avenue. On the right, the north side of the library with the new entrance. Look at the change of Alderman Library, now Shannon Library, from 1964 to now. I mean, it's startling. Put the Memorial Hall. Now, this is important to highlight. This is not Mem Gym. This is a room in the library. This photo, Judah? If you can get that one on screen.
It's two of them. I'm working on those.
So let us know when the old photo is up from 1938. And I'll tell folks to look at the screen. Memorial Hall is the largest room in the library and was built as a memorial to the university's first president, Edwin Alderman, after whom the library was originally named. It's on screen. Here's a photo from 1938, the largest room in the library. As seen in the 1938 photograph, Memorial Hall originally housed the library's card catalogs. I loved card catalogs. I grew up in libraries with card catalogs. The tall structure behind the librarians contained the Sneed book conveyor, a delivery system that brought books from the closed stacks to the circulation desk. Now look at Memorial Hall in January of this year, Judah. That's the new photo. Let us know when that's on screen. Hello. Look, they're friends of the I Love CVille Show. You got the new ones.
Just about. What is bloody thing?
The renovation restored Memorial Hall to look more like it did in 1938 than in 2019. Its vinyl tile and carpet was replaced with new linoleum tiles to match the original checkered floor. Now we have to show the general reading room. These photos look almost identical. The general reading room photos. Let me know when you have those on screen. This library has such history. And then you can also show the photos of the browsing room. The general reading room is almost unchanged. From what, almost 70 years ago? The general reading room in today's picture is now it's now called the Reference Periodicals and Oversize Room. The old one's on screen?
Yeah.
And then flip to the new one when you can. You're doing a fantastic job. I know you're got a lot of balls in the air. I appreciate that. I just got a text message about a new business that is looking to be sold. Charlottesville Business Brokers, online at charlottesvillebusinessbrokers.com.
New one's on.
The new one's on screen. Flip from the old to the new. I mean, very similar, right?
Yeah. There's the old.
And then the browsing room or the graduate student lounge. The history of this library is 1938 until now. We're talking 86 years of history, Judah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize this. The library is the Library Renewal Project, which was designed by HBRA architects, began with a 100,000 square foot renovation of the original 1938 Alderman Library structure. The renovation also included the demolition of the old and new stacks, replaced with a 130,000 square foot 5-story addition.
Old browsing room is on.
It's a beautiful structure. I used to go to this library as a UVA student. Did I do much studying? No. The grand opening renaming celebration is April 4th. The festivities start with an open house from noon to 4 p.m. Jim Ryan, Vice Rector Carlos Brown, and State Senator Cree Deeds will be there for the grand reopening. The story on news.virginia.edu. Couple of other items out of the notebook here. Before we get to Central Virginia, tips and tidbits, a new segment that we'll talk about. There's Steph Liskey, the real estate investor right there. The Stantonian real estate investor who owns a good, not a good chunk, but it owns a fair amount of real estate in downtown Stanton. Steph Liskey. John Blair's got a comment. John Blair, I just watched a Stantonian entrepreneur who owns a portion of the Mark Addy in front of the Macklin. He has a interest in the Macklin building on the 3rd floor, actually. Residential interest. Jerry, if someone came into the studio right now and punched Judah in the face, would you call the police? Would you ban them from ever entering your studio again? If someone came into the studio right now and punched Judah in the face, the first thing I would do would tackle the person that punched Judah in the face. I would DDT, not DDP. I would DDT whoever did anything to Judah Wickhauer.
Thank you.
And then I would call the police. And yes, I would ban them from the studio. He's making a very good point right there. What's the point Mr. Blair is making?
The point is that something needs to be done when there need to be consequences to actions.
Yeah. How are we not expelling the students from the school for even lesser actions?
Yeah.
If someone throws a chair at a student, at a teacher, they should be expelled.
Yeah. Like I said,
Do you agree with that?
I do agree. Yeah. If a student throws a chair at a teacher, they should be expelled.
They should be expelled.
That's straight up unacceptable. I can't imagine any situation where that is an appropriate response.
If someone's doing drugs on the school grounds, should they be expelled?
Probably. Depends on the drugs.
Well,
the kids should not be doing drugs in school.
Okay, that's the right. Good, Judah. Good.
Oh,
your family would be very now proud. Good. Good, Judah. John Blair also says this. Do we have his photo on screen?
We did.
Okay,
We
good.
haven't kept it up the whole time.
Thank you. He says this. As I've said before, a school district has to protect its teachers. If teachers feel the same, there is a threat to their physical safety. If teachers feel that there is a threat to their physical safety, you will get retirements, and it will be difficult to fill vacancies with good candidates. Bingo.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, I mean, who wants to be underpaid and beaten by the people you're there to teach.
Yeah.
It's insanity. Like I said earlier, I appreciate that something is being done, I think, to the students who are perpetrating these violent acts. But the fact of the matter is they feel emboldened enough to commit the acts in the first place, which tells me that there is a
too forgiving nature of accountability, or a lack thereof altogether.
Yeah.
No fear of authority, no respect of authority,
Probably.
No cause and effect for consequences.
Yeah.
I have a 6-year-old and a 15-month-old. The 15-month-old, okay, he's pooping his pants and he's still figuring out life. But our 6-year-old, one of the reasons he follows the rules, part of it is a little bit of fear. A little bit is, we're going to take something away from you. And then there's punishments and ramifications for your actions.
Yeah.
And guess what? He follows the rules. He's a good kid. But if we had no rules in place and no actions or accountability or ramifications or punishment, he would be not such a good kid.
Yeah.
Oh, so frustrating. 3 or 4 minutes on this topic. From the 2004 Election Task Force report, mixed ward and at-large council, a good idea. I saw that, 1335 Hilltop Road, Deep Throat. And I also saw the Meadowbrook Road price cut. The better half and I drove to that house on Meadowbrook Road, which is kind of directly behind where Cookout is.
Yeah.
There's a home that's been popular on Reddit. And this home on Meadowbrook Road, the driveway is a steep climb. It's a gravel driveway, an extremely steep climb.
Oh, man.
It's a beautifully done renovation, very tastefully done renovation. That driveway could be one of the reasons it's not selling. And I did see 1335 Hilltop Road. It is a beautiful house. You want to talk council and ward votes? This is from 2004 Election Task Force report. The 20-year anniversary of this task force report. Jude, the show is yours.
I've been continuing to go through this paper, and it's very interesting.
I've been really impressed with how you've immersed yourself in this task force report.
Yeah, I mean,
You find it fascinating, don't you?
Yeah, there's some great stuff in here, and you know, the number of reports that the city produces, it's. You would think that they would have a vested interest in carrying through on at least some of the suggestions.
Seriously.
And this one, I mean, it's got a lot of great stuff in it, and this part particularly, a mixed ward and at-large council. Here's the proposal. Replace the current at-large only elections with a city council composed of both ward and at-large representatives. The proposal is for a 7-person city council composed of 3 members elected at-large and 4 members elected from wards. And there's a note. The Election Study Task Force was asked to explore a ward-based or a mixed ward and at-large election system for Charlottesville. While several citizens asked for ward-based elections at the public hearings, the task force eliminated the strict ward-based election system because it was felt that this system would create more problems than it would solve. On the other hand, the possibility of a system that includes a combination of councilors elected at large and councilors elected from wards was explored in depth. And they go through a number of bullet point pros and cons. Here are the pros. Supporters of the mixed ward system argue a mixed ward council may offer a way to increase African American or other minority representation because one minority group member may be elected at large, as in recent years, and one or more may be elected from wards. by more closely connecting a neighborhood area with at least one councilor, the perception of a disconnection between city government and the citizens may be reduced. At-large councilors, who are responsible to all the voters, would be able to represent the interests of the city as a whole, while the ward-based councilors would be able to represent their area of the city. With a mixed ward system, the at-large councilors could, as needed, assume a mediating role evaluating competing demands by ward councilors. A mixed ward system mirrors the composition of the school board, this task force, and other city council created committees. Campaigns for the ward seats may be less expensive and time-consuming to run, enabling a greater diversity of candidates to run for office. Some argue it would be much easier for candidates to reach out to the 10,000 citizens of a single ward than to the 40,000 residents of the city. Charlottesville has approximately 20,000 registered voters and approximately 40,000 residents. This may improve the chances that people not representing the major parties can get elected. Independence on city council might help reduce partisanship, may increase voter turnout and civic participation if citizens have greater familiarity with the candidates and councilors from their ward. Many important issues are specific to individual neighborhoods. May improve communication between the city council and the citizens. Similarly, wards may improve access to councilors. Regardless of the approachability of councilors, some citizens find it difficult to contact a councilor. If a councilor lives nearby, attends the local church, shops at neighborhood stores, walks to the neighborhood park, this barrier is lowered. With a larger city council, there may be a greater chance that one councilor would be sympathetic to an individual citizen's concerns.
Okay.
And there are some good cons as well. We don't have to go into them if you don't want to.
The 2004 election task force report that was put together, the large majority of it was completely ignored.
Yeah.
20-year anniversary of this task force report, and the large majority of it was completely ignored.
And it's got a lot of great advice in there.
It 100% has great advice.
And great
And the
insights.
points of concern highlighted in the election task force report have only amplified or worsened.
Yeah.
Multiple people asking if you can share the task force election report in the comment section of the various pages.
All right.
If you could maybe do it after the show. In the thread of this show on Twitter, in the comment section of LinkedIn, and to save you some time, perhaps in the comment section of my personal Facebook page, the I Love CVille group, and the I Love CVille business page. So that would be 5 spots that you would share it in. Folks are asking for it on Instagram as well. Can it be converted into an Instagram post with the link or a swipe up on Instagram, I Love CVille Stories? Perhaps.
Might be doable.
All right. With me, I have a 145 here. Central Virginia Notebook, Tidbits, Talking Points, and Tips. I got another business we're bringing to the market for sale. More details on that coming soon. Jim Hingley watching the program. Love when you watch the show, Jim. We should get you back on the show. He says, Jim Hingley, I love when you watch the show. He says, in Lynchburg, a 7-member council and mayor are elected for 4-year terms. 4 members are elected to represent wards and 3 members are elected at large. That's fantastic right there. From Mr. Hingley. In Lynchburg, a 7-member council and mayor are elected for 4-year terms. 4 members are elected to represent wards, and 3 members are elected at large. What's working right now is not working. Or what is being used right now is not working.
Yeah.
There is no diversity. There's no diversity. There's no political diversity. There's no racial diversity. Okay, I'll choose it differently. There's no political diversity. There's extremely little racial diversity. There's extremely little socioeconomic diversity. Mm-hmm. And that's not good government, no matter what side of the aisle you're on. All right, tips, tidbits, and talking points. About 90 seconds here, if you could, please, sir.
Let's see. There's a new fire station going in place of Station 1. Should be ready in 2025.
That's excellent.
Yeah, it's good news. New 7-Day Junior location opening up on West Main Street.
Okay.
Replacing Carytown Tobacco. I don't know if that's good news, bad news, or just neutral news.
It's neutral news.
Yeah.
Don't want to see any small business, regardless of what they're selling, close.
Yeah.
Speaking of the category of Carytown Pipe and Tobacco, higher education, there was a robbery at higher education on West Main Street. Someone stole, for the sake of the news article, they called it a water pipe. It was a bong. They stole a bong. Did you see?
No, I didn't.
There's video of the man stealing the bong.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. I saw that there was video. I just didn't really read
Legitimately on camera, the man stealing one of the most expensive bongs they have in the store.
Wow.
Grabbed it from the counter and just walked out the front door. When the clerk approached the man about stealing the bong, he told the clerk, "If you follow me or do anything, I will shoot you." His face is on camera. And the clerk and the manager of the store are asking for help in identifying this man who stole what was, it was a significant value. I'm talking hundreds of dollars here.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's the Friday edition of the I Love CVille Show. Judah's got a list of spots for egg hunting on Easter. I'm highlighting Easter on the show.
Yeah.
You can find that online at ilovecville.com. Also on ilovecville.com, you can find a number of businesses that are for sale, a handful of businesses. If you're interested, reach out to Charlottesville Business Brokers, our team, about this. You've done some spot-up work lately. You always do spot-up work. I thought you'd had a fantastic week on this talk show as well, sir. Fantastic week.
Thank you.
A man, the Elmer's glue of the operation, if you may. That's props.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. You guys have a good one. Thank you for joining us on the I Love CVille Show. For Judah, I'm Jerry. Take care.
Have a happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Happy Easter, Judah.
Happy Easter.
I hope you have a happy Easter.